5 minutes after 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. We did one of the first Friday art walks the first Friday of the month,
yes,
right? And it's interesting because that's when we get to meet the listeners, right? And then we do that and people come over and say, hi, I listen all the time, right? One of the things they said was you got some really great, interesting guests. And I think we're not going to disappoint you with the next guest. Dr. James Chip R. Coldren is on the phone. He's a research scientist. The Strategies for Policing Innovation Project Director and the Managing Director of Justice Programs in the Safety and Security Division of CNA. If you're looking at the streaming video right now, I got the CNA Analysis and Solutions logo on the screen. He's talking about the new report, SPI, Reflections of 10 Years of Innovation, how police departments across the United States have been using technology and data to fight crime in communities. As most of you know, my dad was a police officer. My brother was a police officer. So I kind of have, I never was something I wanted to do. I decided to do this. Chip, Dr. Coldren, good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm sitting on top of the world. How are you?
On top of the world? Where are you?
Yes, I'm in the south suburbs of Chicago, actually.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you for being on the air with us today. How's the weather in Chicago?
It's a very sunny day today. It's really nice.
Nice. Robin is from Milwaukee, so not too far from there.
Yeah.
Yes. Commissioner, welcome.
Thank you.
So the technology has changed for all of us. I always think that maybe the military and the police and the firefighters are the ones who really need everything first and best. Is that what's happening?
In a sense, yes. I think American policing agencies are moving much more quickly to adopt technology and to reap its benefits, so to speak. I think in this instance, when we talk about innovation in policing, in some cases we're talking about raw technology, like the use of shot detection technology and body cameras and things like that. But in another sense, it's simply working with information systems and with data to identify in any particular community the very few places and the very small percentage of people that are causing the most social harm and focusing police time, energy, and resources on those places and those individuals. So no longer are police saturating a neighborhood and stopping everything that moves in order to address a particular crime problem. They're much more focused in their ability to identify the locations and the people directly responsible for social harm and public harm and addressing those directly.
Did you happen to see the story? I think it was 2 days ago. There was a group of maybe 6 kids in the Upper East Side of New York City in Manhattan that basically knocked down a firefighter and then kicked him in the face and all that. And they got their images, the kids' images, on a surveillance camera. And so they know right away who they're looking for. I don't know if they've caught them yet, but is that what we're talking about, that kind of thing?
Yes. Very rapidly getting information into detectives and officers' hands so they can identify, where to go, whether it's an arrest or it's a crime prevention initiative. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, even here at the radio station, we have cameras on the outside, and we broadcast from a local mall. And quite often, the police will come ask us to review our tapes. So we don't work for the police department, but they're obviously using other people's technology if like the stores don't have their own surveillance camera set up.
There's actually a new project in Detroit right now called Operation Greenlight. Police are actively engaged with over 500 business places and getting access to their camera technology to solve crimes.
Oh, really? Oh, my gosh. So they don't even have to go to the business. It's automatically uploaded to them?
Yes. So the police support them in their acquisition of the technology, and the store owners cooperate with the police in terms of investigation.
And then you have the ongoing problem of homelessness. I know there is homelessness in our community as well here in Florida, and it's really hard to help the homeless people, especially protect them from getting accosted.
It's interesting that you would bring that up. One of the things that we have observed in American policing across the 57 or so communities that we've worked with, is a movement towards what I call a service orientation in policing. So again, police are realizing that, yes, they have an obligation to enforce the law, but if they want to be more effective in reducing social problems and making communities safer, they have to be involved in the prevention and the management of other problems like homelessness and like the opioid epidemic. So you will now find agencies actively engaged in working with homeless individuals and with addicted individuals in getting them to the treatment and the services that they need, not simply arresting them and taking them off the streets.
Well, that is interesting. Now, does the technology enable the police to use force without using deadly force? Like a taser, for example, seems to be an example of that.
In some cases it does, yeah. There are a number of different examples of what are called less than lethal weapons. So you have rifles now that will shoot bean bags at people and stun them for a second so the police can apprehend them without causing great bodily harm. So there's a number of things. Becoming very popular now to use what's called shotgun detection technology. So these are sound sensors that are placed around a community that pick up gunshots and immediately notify police of the location of the gunshot so they can get there more quickly.
Oh, wow. It was a story this morning that a pilot that was landing in Orlando had a green laser pointed at his face, and he got it actually went into his eye, and it affected him. And they were able to pinpoint which house the laser came from. They're not sure that they got the right one, but the point is they kind of knew where it came from. That's amazing to me.
Yes, they're becoming much more adept again at focusing their energy, their resources on the places and the people that need the most attention.
And what kind of strides are being made in the location of the people that send in threats to the schools? Because we've had some schools get telephone calls stating that I'm going to come in and shoot you, and then the perpetrator hangs up the phone.
So I think one thing that's happening is that police are becoming much more adept at their use of social media, not only as an investigative tool, but not just as a communications tool, but as an investigative tool. So there are some instances where they have identified people like that through the searching of social media and Facebook pages and things like that.
And are you really in the center of things when it comes to helping the FBI and the local law enforcement departments with the new technology to spot the bad guys?
In some cases, yes. Most of our work under Strategies for Policing Innovation is with local municipal police departments. But there are some other projects that we have that have us working directly with the FBI and the DEA and ATF and things like that, yes.
All right, so I wanted to make sure that our listeners could look into this further. You have a website, CNA.org, is that right?
Yes. Yes, and if you go about halfway down that page, you'll find a link to this report. On Twitter, you can go to hashtag SPI, the number 10, and you'll find more information there.
Okay, excellent. Very good. Well, thank you for what you're doing, Chip, and come back anytime.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. All right, we will take a break. We'll be right back.
In my life, I've learned an important lesson. My age doesn't define who I am.